recommendation here is to lower the tyre pressures, so I'm going to drop mine to 20 psi, much like I did for Rawnsley Park. I found that was a good pressure. So again, using the TPMS, I check TPMS quickie deflators. Just going to go around, drop all the tyre pressures, and then we'll get on the track.
G'day campers, welcome back to 1010 Adventures. Like every good four-wheel driver, you know that when you're hitting the tracks, you need to let your tyres down. But you know what's just as important as being able to let your tyres down before a big drive? Being able to pump them up again when you get back. Just after this trip that we did in the Flinders, we got back to our campsite, and I found that the Dune four-wheel drive cheapo air compressor that I did a review on, just check it out somewhere here. Did a review on this. At the time I thought it was a pretty good bit of kit. In all honesty, I reckon I've used it maybe 10 times and it shit itself. It doesn't work. It's not that the compressor part doesn't work, it actually just gets no power at all now. So that, down in the bin. So we were fortunate that we've got an airbag set up in the caravan. We're able to pull the car up next to the van and use the tyre inflator that we have with the air compressor in the van. But if I'd been out on my own on the tracks, I would have had to have gone home with some pretty low pressure tyres before finding a very remote service station and hoping that they had compressed air. Following that, I've done a bit of a scouring and I've looked around at different options. As much as I've stated that this is not going to have any King's gear in it, I did actually look at a King's air compressor, but decided against it. I had a look at Ocam, I've had a look at a number of places, and while I was searching, I came across a company called Big Red Gear. Hadn't heard of them before, turns out they're pretty new. From what I can tell, the majority of their product is made in China, but they're an Australian-owned company. What I will say, this is 100% not a sponsored video. In fact, I reached out to Big Red Gear to ask them if they had any advice, tips or tricks or anything they'd like me to talk about in this video. I've never heard anything back, so take from that what you will. I'm not trying to cast aspersions on the company, but they never replied back to me. Maybe they thought I was chasing sponsorship or something else, even though I did say in my email I'm absolutely not. Either way, they never got back to me. So let's have a look at what I bought. I'm going to tell you, this box is it's pretty heavy. I haven't opened this yet. This is the first time I've opened this. I haven't seen many YouTube reviews on this product either. I did have a bit of a look, but I haven't seen much. Online. Let's try and get this out of the box. Okay. That's a sizable and very heavy box. So first observation, it does come in a handy carry bag, which I do like. So let's have a little bit of a look at here. Look at this canvas style bag, pretty hard wearing. Looks reasonably high quality. Now in the bag is where things get interesting. This is actually a quality looking bit of kit. You get quite a bit in here. Along with the compressor, we've got galvanized rubber hose. It looks to be braided steel underneath that lining. Got the main connector running through to the body of the compressor. It is a twin pump compressor, so get that little bit of extra oomph out of it. single threaded regular tyre connector, which I think we actually connect to the end of this hose here. It does appear that that is the case. Oh, we go to power clips. They're sturdy, well sprung. Honestly, first impressions, I've got to say this is actually looking like a surprisingly good quality bit of kit. Now that said, yes, this is made in China, and while normally I would try and buy Australian made wherever I can, it's not to say that there's anything wrong with some stuff you buy that's made in China. Some of it can be very, very good. All my cameras that I use in this, the DJI series, they're all made in China and they're extremely good quality. GoPro, exactly the same, made in China, good quality. Our drones, all made in China. Some of them are cheap and nasty, but you're buying a DJI, it's good quality. So just because it's made in China doesn't mean it's crap. All right, so that's the unit. It does have some rubber feet on the bottom, hopefully with a little bit of vibration dampening. Rubber springs, rubber spaces on the bolts holding this to the base plate. So I think this is going to have a little bit of vibration resistance, or dampening I should say. The other thing that this has on the front, and this is a feature that I was really happy with the Dune model, and that is you can set your pressures. So set and forget. That to me is a really, really good feature. In fact, it's one of the reasons that I went with this rather than a vehicle mounted product. I did get this for a bit of a discount price. It was one of their early launch sales, and I think I paid about $200 for it. I think it's probably closer to $300 now, but compare that to a in-vehicle mounted system that's probably going to cost you 2 or 3 times that. That's probably the main reason I didn't do an in-vehicle mount. I have had one before. I had one in the Fortuna, and that was largely because I was running airbags. But honestly, it was expensive. I've not really found a need to put airbags in the coils in the back of this, so this is the way we're going. So the big question, I guess, with this is, it's a set and forget, but how accurate is it? That's what I want to know. The Dune one was actually pretty accurate. If I set it to 40 PSI, the TPMS system would show that it was sitting at 40 PSI. I'm going to get a reading from one of my tyres, see what it's saying currently. I'm going to let it down with the quickie deflators, and then pump it up to the same value and see how it goes. Now, so this is telling me my back tyre is at 38, my front's at 41. I actually want to increase the pressure on my tyres. They've obviously rotated them the last time I did a service. All right, while that's going, let's have a look at how we're going to set this up. Main thing is going to be this hose. Now there is an extension kit available for this that you can do multiple tyres at once. I think they've got a dual and a quad tyre setup, so you can just set it up to do all of your tyres in one go. I didn't purchase that accessory. I was really wanting to see what the quality of the unit was like before I did it. But if you want me to get the multi-tyre setup, let me know in the comments below, and I'll look at spending some more money if I can get wife approval. A couple of handy little Velcro tie downs, but they are actually attached to the ropes, so that they're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to lose them. Less helpful when they stick together. There's a lot of cable there, and rather than being a spring coiled cable, I think this is actually going to be a little bit better. The spring cable that I had in the Dune model, look, I believe they're prone to, after a little while, they will become damaged. So, or risk sun damage and the like. So all we need to do, pull down the receiver at this end, pop the silver end in. He says. It's interesting. There we go. All right, that's That was a little bit stubborn to fit, but could be because it's new. I'll reserve judgment on that for the moment. Grab our other end. And this just screws in like so. Really easy. Make sure it's nice and tight. And we've got a nice, clean, straight grip. So, one very important thing that I've learned. If you're going to use an air compressor, you're connecting it to your battery. Make sure your car's running so your alternator's doing some work. I really don't want another flat battery. It's not that the compressor part doesn't work, it actually just gets no power at all now. It's no power at all now. It's no power at all now. Basically what I'm doing, I'm just going to see whether the fact I can't turn this on has anything to do with there being no pressure in this hose. It would seem odd, but let's see how we go.
All right, after trying a little quick trick, which is rather than plugging the negative cable into the negative terminal of the battery, plug it to an earth somewhere in the vehicle, and surprise, surprise, turned on. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set the pressure to 40 psi and go from there. Okay, that seems to have worked.
There she is, 40 psi on the nose.
One other thing I should add before I turn this off, I'm just doing up one of my other tyres, and it was actually over 40. It was sitting at 40.7. One of the things I just noticed with the unit is there's actually a deflator. This little button here, if I push that in, it actually releases some of the air pressure. That's handy.
Well, after all that, now I've got the fun job. Putting it back in the bag, even after having just topped up all 4 tyres. It's not hot either. Like, often I feel like I'd need to leave this out for a little while before putting it back in the bag. Maybe if I'd gone from 20 psi all around, it'd be a bit warm to the touch, but honestly, it feels alright. Now what I will say is I do know where I'm going to have one big problem. This is quite low and compact. This is a little bit taller, and I don't think it's going to fit flush in my drawer, which is going to upset me. She's not going to fit. And I suppose I could try and lie it down, but it's not going to work that way either. All right. Any good storage suggestions? Let me know in the comments below. Unless you're going to tell me I should have gotten a fixed mounted one. I don't want to know that. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of the Big Red Gear air compressor. Apart from being too big for my drawers, it's I'm actually pretty impressed. It seems like a pretty well constructed and well thought out bit of kit. And for, as I say, I paid $200. I'll leave a link to Big Red Gear in the description below if you want to pick up one up for yourself. I'm not sure what they're going for at the moment. I haven't actually checked that out. So, but if you can get them on sale, I do know that you can get them for as little as $200. So, in my mind, that's a quality bit of kit for $200. let me know what you think. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
10 adventures, we won't be tamed. Blazing trails where wildfires reign. Bottles roar in the outback's hard, living free from the very start.